Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. It is another tasty Tuesday. I am Erik, your humble malt muser. Pony on up to the virtual bar, y'all. Let me know what's going on. What are you guys drinking on tonight? We already got a healthy chat going, it looks like, which is always a good way to start off Tasty Tuesday, where you know you get 3 hours of whiskey chat every week. And we kick it off here with happy hour. I am going to be tasting a couple things tonight, which I will get into relatively shortly. And then as always, 9 o'clock Eastern time, Telex and Malt Show. And I'll give you a little peek on what's going to be happening on that show in just a hot minute. But first, let's see who is already here. And it looks like Mr. French, first in the door. What's up? I'm pouring a nice simple dram tonight on a warm evening here in Duluth, 21. Yeah, that's not exactly simple, but I see what you're doing there. Draminator, how are you? Talking to French, did you work at B&L Railroad? Not sure, but good to see you, Draminator. Wishes he had. Oh, we got another one in Duluth. Oh, my God. We got a Duluth contingent of Tasty Tuesday drinkers. What's up? Good Midwestern people. What's happening, my friends? He's talking about retired, but was at YRC. Okay, they're talking back and forth. East Texas. Daniel. What's up, fellas, ladies, and malt muser? Not much, man. Just having that first dram of the eve. Getting things going, starting things up, you know. Got a little bit of Evan Williams single barrel bourbon in the glass. Can't complain. It's a great starter. All right, what else is going on? Daniel's got some Balcones rye in the palate for a warm-up, and then he's doing some Lechag 10. There you go. Demon Hunter, what's up in Calgary, buddy? Scotia Victoriana, short list of dream bottles. All right, well, I have more to say about that tonight for sure. Yeah, he does have the dram of the night so far. Dude, spring drinking that on 21. Look at this guy. Earl Grey tea going on with the Demon Hunter. Okay, get it ready. We're going Campbelltown to Rye tonight. College, we did the same kind of thing. Drink the good beer first, and you don't care what it tastes like. There you go. Speaking truth, buddy. That's great. What else is going on? Hitting the thumbs up. Yeah, that'd be great. Cheers. Appreciate it, French. Appreciate it. What's up in Northern Ireland? Whiskey Straight Al is in the house. Looking forward to this. Some Black Bush in the glass. There you go. I have not had the Black Bush. I have had the Jameson Black Barrel, which I know is very similar, but I've heard that the Black Bush is probably a little bit better. I got to get my hands on that one of these days. Delhi, India. Sorry not been able to attend the stream this past month, especially stayed up late. Hey, man, right on. No worries, buddy. You know we're always here. You swing in when you can, man, but it's always good to hear from you. Hope everything is well in the early morning hours over in India. SoCal, our boy Cohen, what's cracking? Louisiana, Lost Cause in the Bayou. King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, what's up? Tony. Trooper, how are you, man? Good to see Trooper in an undisclosed location somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico, perhaps. How's the new Compass Box Menagerie? I have not had it yet. Gary's in the house. What's going on, Gary? And, Telex and I just got a bottle of that, the port finished version. I don't know anything else about it, but it's apparently quite good. So you might have to tell us about it. Hey, it's Rob. What's going on, man? It's been a while since I've seen you, Rob. Cheers, man. Happy 2021. Hope you've been well. Scotia Victoriana is seriously good scotch. Yeah. I got some. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. Jersey, Andrew Page. He's got some Victoria. I'm waiting for him on the desk in the attic. My daughter's room now, waiting for her to fall asleep. There you go. Everybody be real quiet. got a dram to drink. We got to make sure that the young one gets a good night's sleep tonight, y'all. Don't be making a racket. All right, everybody. We got 16 folks in the house already, which is rad, man. Always good to kick off a Tasty Tuesday with some good energy. Let me set things up for everybody. All right. So, Tasty Tuesday, happy hour tonight. I am going to be sipping on and sharing just my thoughts, really, on a bottle from Glen Scotia, one of the 3 Campbelltown distilleries. This is the Victoriana 51.5% ABV. And I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm going to be drinking on this in a minute. After this, switching over to a rye matured single malt scotch. It is known to fanboys as Ardbeg Arrrrrrdbeg. Yep, Tony and King of Prussia, generous enough to provide me a sample. I'm going to get into that. And there's a good reason we're talking about that rye whiskey tonight. It's because 9 o'clock Eastern time, the link will be in the chat. We'll be heading over to Telex's channel for the Telex and Malt Show. Telex and I are going to be getting into 2 rye whiskeys tonight. We are doing a Pennsylvania rye, Dad's Hat, cast strength, or a barrel proof, something. It's got a high ABV. And then we are also doing the E.H. Taylor straight rye whiskey. So we got a bunch of rye whiskey coming up later tonight, switching things up a little bit. We got to keep things interesting, you know. And so I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to getting another dram of this in the glass. And we'll get into that in just a hot minute. So thanks, everybody, for hopping in. We got 17 folks in. If you haven't yet for some reason, dude, hit the subscribe. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't hit that thumbs up, always does good, too. Gets more folks into the community here so we can talk more whiskey. Always fun. I'm going to finish up this Evan Williams. Evan Williams single barrel, y'all. Seriously. It's a single barrel. It's like $30. I think Evan Williams gets a bad rap as one of these low-end whiskeys, which in a lot of ways it is. But this single barrel ain't bad. And if you've ever had their bottled and bond, or if you haven't, get it. It's like a $20-some bottle. Great mixer, great sipper. If you are into just kind of classic bourbon, no frills, gives you what you want. All right, let me catch back up here on the chat right quick. And then we are going to get into this Glen Scotia Victoriana. In fact, I get in their glass here. I'm just going to pour this now. Getting pretty low. This is not one I like to be low on. It has been a while since I've poured it. All right. Let's catch up here real quick, see what's happening with everybody. Looks like Andrew Page's daughter is probably still awake. Never heard of that Amroot. Yeah, so it is. Yeah, there's like 2 versions. There's a peated and a port. Telex and I just got bottles of the port, and we're going to try it eventually. But yeah, I'm not familiar. So, Gary, you're going to have to give us the word on that. By the way, Gary, where are you located? I do like to give people shout outs to where they're located if they like that. So if you want to share your city, drop it in the chat. Straight Al says, after 2 recent Glen Scotia reviews, one of my subscribers is sending me a sample of Victoriana. Nice. Awesome, man. Yeah, you're not going to be disappointed in it. That is for sure. It is not a disappointing whiskey. Beaming the signal from Oahu. It is Juan. What is going on, my friend? Great to see you. Always good to have Juan in the house. Thanks for your support. Continuing on Patreon. I appreciate that. Aloha to you, says Ben Demon Hunter. Awesome. Always great when Juan's in the house. Gary's in San Francisco. All right, we got another NoCal person, Dram Dude, who may show up a little bit later today. Also up in Northern California. Awesome, man. Or is it considered Central California? I don't know. I don't want to start a turf war. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there are a few rare exceptions to that rule. Obviously, Mr. Cloudy from I still got the bottle back there from last year. Might have been an exception, but all right. Can't find any reviews of the Menagerie, but I see it around. Yeah, I've seen it around too, man. I don't know anything about it. I wish I could help you. You probably know more than I do. I literally have just heard about it, not seen it or tasted it. Yeah, NorCal. All right. Cool, y'all. Tony. There you go. Well, Musar, what's the ABV on your bottle? This one is 51.5%. So near cast strength, if not cast strength, non-chill filtered. Awesome stuff. All right. It's been a while since we've talked Glen Scotia. I'm going to have to just put a little bit more in the glass because I know this isn't going to be enough. This is a killer pour. So the reason I'm doing this Glen Scotia now after a while, I just finished up today recording a little video, something special, which I'm going to put out in the next couple of weeks. It is literally my top 5 non-age statement whiskeys that I think folks need in their life. Hint, hint, this one's on the list. I won't tell you where, but Patreon supporters, you'll get an early link to that video. It should probably be like 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. I got to look at my schedule. Maybe I'll figure out a way to put it out earlier. And so I was revisiting this and over the last week or two before I did this video and was just remembering how much I really enjoyed this. So the story here on the Victoriana is quite interesting. So first and foremost, it is an NAS whiskey. This is this one is 51.5%. It is non-chill filtered. It will be on my top 5 NAS list, as I mentioned. It is right around that like $90 mark. So it's not cheap. Not cheap at all. Especially when you consider some of the other Glen Scotias. I mean, they're 18 you can get under $100. Basically, the story here on the Victoriana is hand select cast in our cellar, each chosen for rare characteristics, finished in the finest deep charred oak, result exceptionally smooth, blah, 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 non-chill filtered. So like it's kind of vague about what is exactly going on in this, but I will tell you this much. It doesn't tell you what it's aged in. It just says finished in deep charred oak cask. So there you go. Maybe first fill bourbon, who knows? Or, double barrel kind of style. This is an insanely complex whiskey. And the thing that I think I like the most about this and respect the most about this is that, there's a lot of debate about NAS whiskeys. Some folks think, this is just a way for distillers to meet up with market demand and sell you cheaper stuff at a higher price, and it's not well aged, et cetera, et cetera. The other hand, some folks think like, hey, it's welcome, right? You get more creativity in some of the distillate, and as long as it's kind of well and balanced with other age statement stuff, no big deal, right? No matter where you fall, I think there are exceptions to this, and this one is definitely one of those. And I understand for some of the more seasoned malt drinkers out there that this is something you may see this and you think to yourself, why would I spend $90 on that? It's an NAS. There's so many good age stated Glen Scotias, the 15, the 18, stuff like that. I will tell you right now, this one is probably worth that price. And the reason is that I think it's just incredibly complex. You can tell it's been aged in good casks, and there's just so much happening here. Like the reason that it took me literally down to that, even to begin to record my review, let alone put it on my top 5 NAS video, is simply because there's just so much happening. It took me forever to get my bearings on it. And some folks might not like that. Some folks want to, you want to know what you're getting every single time you pour a glass. This is not that whiskey. This is something that's got just a lot of like interesting, subtle nuance. So we're going to see how this is going today. And let me know in the chat, you got opinions on the Glen Scotia Victoriana or any other Glen Scotia for that matter. Let's start a chat about Glen Scotia. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And yeah, definitely particularly on the Victoriana. So when I put my nose in this right away, it's just like, yeah, okay, there's vanilla. There's some spice like nutmeg. And then there is, I'm not even sure. It's like oatmeal or like some type of like graham cracker, like very strong. Vanilla frosting, cinnamon. There's even a little bit of dried fruit. I don't know if this has sherry influenced spirit in it or not. Not much in the way of smoke. A little bit of that funkiness. This is just one that I think the longer you let it sit, the more interesting stuff comes out. My guess here is that the heavily charred barrels are a way of trying to kind of, influence the spirit to make it a little bit more palatable, given that it's probably young. But again, we don't know. It's just, there's this unmistakable, like, malted grain note. And I know that sounds ridiculous, given that, of course, we know it's malted barley. But it comes out in such an interesting way. It's more rounded. It's like if you ever had brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal before, honey on top, that's exactly what this smells like. Man. I mean, there's also maybe a little bit of like a clay minerality. It's just a lot happening in this glass. And 51.5%, nothing to sneeze at all. Right about where you'd want it, in my opinion. God, there's also like a candied, I don't know, man, peach. It's tough to say. Anyways, I'm going to have a sip. Let's get this started. Cheers, y'all. Happy Tasty Tuesday. This whiskey kills it, man. You would not think this was young based on the way it develops. It arrives really heavy and sweet. Not like Bunnahabhain heavy. It's not those dark notes. It's more middle. Peach, orange, raisin, fig, that kind of thing. Apricot, vanilla, light caramel, light brown sugar, and then you get a nice spice hit. I can't quite figure out what it is, but it hits pretty nice. And there's like hints of milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, all the chocolates, coffee, vanilla, cola. There's just so much happening. And it's about a medium finish. It's not a bold finish. I think that's the one thing, if you were going to criticize this whiskey, that's what you would say. It doesn't give you a nice, long, protracted finish where a lot of new things come up. I get kind of a mint chocolate chip ice cream thing. Apricot, raisin, like raisinets, like those candies, the raisinets, like those chocolate covered raisins. Maybe even a little bit of like cherry cordial. That mint note is there for sure, though. And nuttiness, like roasted almonds or something. It's just all over the place. And I don't mean that in a way that it's like disorganized and imbalanced. Like there's a method to this madness. It's just a whiskey that like has a lot of complexity, and you can just pick out so much. And I think that's why it took so long. Like I literally just recorded my review of this. It'll post in, a couple weeks. But it took that long just to kind of get my bearings on it. Like I wasn't sure what to say. Every time I'd open the glass, it was something different. And to be honest, for me, that's fun. Like this is a really fun whiskey in that way. It might even be the kind of whiskey you'd recommend to somebody who's like had a couple single malts, just starting to like make that turn in their journey to kind of like they've got a palate, they recognize things. This is a good one to like, challenge you a little bit. I'm also getting like a now, like even on the end of this finish, grape, like a white grape or a green grape, just like a little bit of it, that tartness, you get on the skin of a green grape. Yeah, man. It's great. Busy, but great. I do wish they told you a little bit more about it on here. All they talk about is this vague, finest deep charred oak, which has to be ex-bourbon given the way this tastes. Yeah, they're a little bit vague, and I think that's the only thing that, kind of annoying. You do wish that, you always want them to give us more information. Anyways, yeah, these are in that like $80 to $90 range. But I would say that in general, it's really fucking good. Let's just put it that way. Let me catch up on the chat. I see some folks have been chatting Glen Scotia, so I want to make sure I catch up with everybody. Well, that's my favorite. That was my whiskey of the year in 18. It's a fantastic freaking whiskey. Big fan of Glen Scotia from Daniel down in East Texas. We got another NorCal guy in the house. Dram dude, what's up? There's another one here too. You and Gary are building the NorCal caucus. Good to see you, man. Spoke to the manager of Paul John. He's a friend of mine. Nice. And luckily he has one last bottle of the Paul John Christmas 20. Oh, congrats, man. That's awesome. I've been singing the praises of that whiskey all year. If you've had the 19, you are going to love the 20. It's like triple mature. There's peated, there's virgin oak, and then ex-bourbon. You're going to love that. It's a really, really good one. Clomstra. All right, folks chatting. Victoriana is outstanding. It was my first Glen Scotia. Okay, right on. Juan's a big fan too and likes the double cask. Yeah, double cask, man. Totally. Yeah, I'm a fan. If you guys haven't actually seen it, if you go back in my little playlists on my channel, because of the whole recurring episode of the Glen Scotia distillery bottle, I actually had the privilege to sit down and interview their master distiller and their brand ambassador. And we talked a bit about Glen Scotia and a bit about the Mr. Cloudy bottle. So I would totally recommend you to check out that video if you haven't seen it. It was a lot of fun. I couldn't believe that that's what happened. Likes the richness and spice in the end and the fruits wind down. Sure. Yeah. Tony's what's up. Yeah, exactly. Something different in every sip. I respect this whiskey in that way. At first, I wasn't sure what to make of it because I literally just couldn't figure it out. Like, what is going on in this? I mean, there's almost like an earthy pumpkin note to it, as weird as this sounds. I know I'm probably going off into, nerd zone, but there's just so many strange notes in this. All right. Victoriana is 98 by you, which is a good price at LCBO. Oh, yeah. Definitely worth it. I don't know. I still see them pretty cheap comparatively. Double cask around that $40, Victoriana around that 85, 90. 15 can range from like 60 to 80. 18 is, sometimes over 100. Jam Dude hasn't had it in years. Word. Yeah. I don't know what your remembers of this song, but it's good. It's just What's up, Harrisburg, PA? How's it going? I think your nose must be super special because you can pick up all kinds of stuff. I'm like, smells yummy or smells yucky. Yeah, well, that's where you got to start, right? Good to see Harrisburg in the house. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Tino says, Yummy's yucky still works. Yeah. It's one way or the other. My bottle's 54.2. I don't know how they do the batches either. That's a really good question. But I can't imagine that the quality is going to change too much on either. Yeah, I saw that. Has anybody had the Glen Scotia from what it was like it was some type of festival release last year, the 14-year-old Tawny Port? I haven't had it yet. I have a bottle. I haven't opened it yet, but I've heard good things about it. Yeah, that I got to get for sure. If it's anything like the Deanston, hook me up. Yeah. A lot of love coming for the Bordeaux. Rick MCQ. Hey, Rick, how you doing, buddy? I saw a Glendronach 18 that was bottled in 2013. Buy it for sure. Because unfortunately, now it's not going to be a heavily aged one. It's probably still going to be an 18-year-old, but they are now chill filtering their whiskey, which makes me think they're going to lower that ABV. Sad developments coming out of Glendronach. anything you see that's old from GlenDronach at this point. 150 is actually a really good deal. Like right now, I think going market price on a lot of GlenDronach 18 Allardyce is probably more than that. So yeah, I would buy it with confidence for sure. You know, you're at least getting 46% non-chill natural. So yeah, I would do it for sure, Rick. Thanks for stopping in, man. Cheers. Oh, interesting. $70 US. Yeah, well, that's before shipping, though. You know, whiskey exchange shipping is like 70 bucks itself. Don't you worry, my friend. I got a couple coming. Not from there, though. I'll keep you posted. Campbelltown Malfez. Gary's got 4 of them. Okay. Gary knows what's up then. JK135, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Yeah. That's true. I mean, well, the Kilkerran 12 isn't a bad price. I guess, I mean, but that's a rare exception here, right? I mean, even the Springbank 10 is going upwards of I mean, I've seen the Springbank 10 going for close to 100, which is asinine. Don't you agree that there's whiskey at 40% that don't drink as smooth as Victoriana? Yes, that's probably true. No doubt. This stuff is killer. I'm not even gonna lie. I agree. I mean, if you're looking for something that, I mean, this has some spice to it. And if people, you know, people are afraid of flavor, they're gonna want to pass on this. But I think this is a good whiskey even for bourbon heads, because there's just so much rich bourbon notes in this. Freaking killer. Yeah, you bet, Rick. Yeah, buy that GlenDronach with confidence. Yeah, no, don't even hesitate. I mean, if you find any GlenDronach 18 Allardyce that's pre-2020 and it's at 150 bucks, buy it for sure. Because honestly, with the way things are going with GlenDronach, they're starting to chill filter their whiskey, which to me is a signal they're going to start probably lowering their ABV even. You know, since Brown-Forman bought them, Ralphie has a great video up on this. I encourage people to go over to ralphie.com and check out his conversation about this. But we were talking about it last week too. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. So the older ones are only good. I mean, you're only going to benefit from a more competent dram where, you know, the quality was more important than the marketing, which unfortunately seems to be the direction they're going. So yeah, grab that for sure. Hey, Leo, how you doing, man? Cheers. Thanks for stopping in. I've only had the Glen Scotia 2019 Maltfest rum cask. Oh, okay. I have not had that. I'm always looking to try a rum cask that can hold its own weight. I've had mixed experiences with them so far, but thanks for the heads up on that. I'll have to keep an eye out for that, man. And cheers. Thanks for swinging in for happy hour. If you haven't yet, encourage you to hit subscribe if you like the show. I do my whiskey reviews every Friday. They drop, and we do this every Tuesday. So great to have you in the chat, man. Cheers. Rick says, Ken, it was the only store they had and only had one, unfortunately. Okay, yeah. Go buy it. For sure. For sure. Man, that apricot note is really coming out of this now. Yep. Richard, how that Linkwood TS Indie bottle, kosher wine barrel finish, have you reviewed it yet? GS Inverse is getting better every dram. Not P. Okay, cool. I do not have that Linkwood. I have a Linkwood 19 Alexander Murray Indie release. I haven't spent much time with it though, so I can't comment right now. I would be I'd be lying if I gave you any of my like actual thoughts, but it's great to see you, Richard. Good to see some new folks in the house, man. We got 24 folks in, which is awesome, man. Cheers. Happy Tasty Tuesday, everybody. Let me give everybody a little heads up on where we're at. So we've been talking Glen Scotia Victoriana. I brought it out because I was revisiting it, finally getting a review done, which will drop in a few weeks. And also, I'm releasing a video in a couple weeks. 5 NAS whiskeys you need in your life. This one is on that list, and I'm really excited to share that list with everybody. You're going to be surprised what number 1 is. I think, because most of you are going to probably have a guess on what it is, and it's not that. So I'm excited to share that. That'll drop probably in a couple weeks. I will, of course, for Patreon supporters, you will get early access to that as always. Next, I'm going to begin the rye transition. Why? Because Telex and I on the Telex and Malt Show tonight at 9 o'clock are talking rye whiskey. So we're switching things up a little bit. We got two good rye whiskeys. We have a Pennsylvania straight rye, which is Dad's Hat. This is a store pick single barrel at cast strength. And then we are also going to do E.H. Taylor straight rye whiskey. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's always fun to periodically do a video with Telex where we challenge his palate a little bit, as he is a bona fide Scotch fan. So, and Scotch Uber Alice fan, which I am too, but I, do like a lot of other things as well. So it'll be a lot of fun. I will drop the link in the chat right around 9 when Telex is ready to launch the show. And of course, hope you guys can join. It is Tasty Tuesday. This is how we do 3 hours of whiskey chat every single Tuesday. Let me catch up here real quick, and then we are going to get into the Ardbeg Arrrrrrdbeg. And shout out to Tony in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, again, right up the road from me in Philly, who was generous enough to share this sample. So we're going to be chatting about that in a little bit. Yeah, I'd buy like 3. I love that whiskey. That is a great pour. We're just talking about the Lingwood Rob Klomstra, double cask open right now. So not bad. I'm going to buy again. Okay. I enjoyed that. I mean, it doesn't give you it doesn't bring all the complexity, I think, that you want from a Glen Scotia. But I mean, it's a great daily sipper because it's just so inexpensive. I don't know how much those are by you, Rob, but around here they're in that $45 range. It is an NES, but I don't know. I've quite enjoyed it. I think it's non-chill filtered too, if I'm not mistaken. One more. It was called Kamet. Oh, interesting. Have you had? Well, there's another Indian whiskey that we get a lot here, and so Maher, he's in Delhi, India, so he's got his ear to the ground a bit more even on the Indian whiskey than we do. Have you had Rampur? Rampur is one that I see quite a bit here in the States. Amrut is the one that I see the most, followed by probably Rampur and then Paljan. Because I have not had anything from Rampur yet. Yeah, totally agree. 100%. Yep. I did see his video, and he's totally right. When we were chatting about this last week, when some folks got the news, I think it was Alan, the whiskey friend, who jumped in the chat and shared it. Yeah, what a bummer. I hate to see this from Glendronach, but their prices have gotten so high that I'm not buying it anyways. So, whatever. I'll just go buy a Glenallachie. Screw them. Do you get any smoke in yours? A little bit. I don't. It's very, very faint. Yeah, I don't really get much. Yeah, you got the spice. Yeah, there's. I have not seen their tasting notes. They actually. Let me see if there's any on the bottle here, or on the box. Oh yeah, it does say mildly smoky aftertaste. I don't get much on mine. Tawny Port release is fascinating. Oh, he's talking Glen Scotia. Okay, rum finish was good too. Awesome. I've heard Dad's Hat is supposed to be fantastic. Yes, it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So rye whiskey, it is a Pennsylvania rye, and we'll talk more about this on the Telex show. But basically, Pennsylvania rye, if you're going to describe it as a style, it is only rye, malted barley, and water. They do not use corn in any of their rye whiskeys. So if you're a Pennsylvania rye, that's the standard. They are just outside of Philadelphia, where I am, for a few more weeks. I will be relocating the malt cave to Chicago, Illinois, about a month or so, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, Dad's Hat is really good stuff. They have a ton of different great finishes. They have a vermouth finished rye. They have a port finished rye. They have the cast strength stuff. They make a good product for sure. And yeah, their style, I don't know if rye originated in Pennsylvania, but I do know that their style, it would make sense if it did, and it is very singular to the Pennsylvania rye style in that they don't use any corn. What's the pinkish box on your left side? Middle shelf, tube shape. No. This one? If Dram Dude's in the house, he knows what this is. If it's this one, this is Deanston 1991. This is a 28-year-old Deanston with a 3-year finish in Muscat. Yeah, 3 years. I think this is what you're talking about. It's kind of a pinkish red thing going on. If it's not that, maybe you're talking about this one, which is the Glen Scotia 21. Yeah, I think that's right. Let me know if that wasn't the right bottle. Ooh, they have a cask strength double cask. Okay, I gotta get that. Jesus, I didn't even know about that. Yeah, do it. I have 2 bottles of the 2019 Allardyce, which is the 24-year. Yeah, do it if you can. But anything you see with the 2021 age scan on it, suspect, because I think, just look at the label. If they're not saying non-chill filtered on it anymore, then it's not the one to buy. Yeah, I saw it. So Dram Dude got a bottle of this too, which is so rad. I saw your kick-ass Instagram picture of it, man. That was cool. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, the rarest of the rare stuff is going in the car with me. The rest I will give to the movers, but I will have very, very wrapped because I do not want to take any risk. But yeah, I have a couple very special bottles. I'm thinking the Bricklotti Brackart 4.1, the White Horse Lagavulin. There's a couple old Ardbegs and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna put them in the trunk. I'll be if those get broke, I'd rather have it be me than some moving company. Cannot say much about Rampur. Okay, interesting. All right. Yeah, I don't know much about Rampur either. Got it. My bad. Oh yeah. All good, man. All good. Yeah. No worries. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna make the transition now. It is 8:37. We got 24 folks in the house, which is rad. Okay. I want to give a shout out first and foremost to a good friend of the show and Patreon supporter, Tony in King of Prussia, about 15 miles from me. And by the way, if anybody is interested in supporting the show, I'd greatly appreciate it on Patreon. If you can't do that, hit me the thumbs up, but I dropped the link in the chat if anybody's interested in showing up and chipping in a little bit to help the show. As I do say, everybody who's on Patreon gets first dibs. They get first dibs on any raffles I do. I just finished one a couple weeks ago. Also, for samples and things like that, also you get early access to all of my review videos. Here's what I got here. The Ardbeg Arrrrrrdbeg. Now, the deal with the Ardbeg Arrrrrrdbeg is it is a rye matured Ardbeg, 51.8%, and it was released in honor of Mickey Heads, who is leaving as the master distiller of Ardbeg. If you are anywhere close to a secondary market website, you see this whiskey's going like crazy everywhere. There's only a limited amount of these. Let me actually pull up the full stats just so I can give everybody the straight up opinion. My goal here is to taste this enough to let you know if, in my opinion, you should go and spend what is probably hundreds of dollars on this bottle. It is non-age statement. It is 51.8%, and it is all X rye. That is, they do not give you a ton of information about it. Surprise, surprise. It's a special release Ardbeg. Nonetheless, rye influenced whiskeys on the Scotch side, at least, are things that I've found rather difficult to come by. I mean, I can count on one hand the ones that I've seen. You have the 9-year-old Glenallachie. You have my personal favorite, the Glenmorangie Speos, which is still available. You have that Chivas Regal Manchester United one, the 13-year-old, which is X-Rye. There's a few other ryes here and there, and do drop in the chat if you have any rye matured or rye finished single malt scotches that you recommend or at least know about, because there's not a lot of them. So when Ardbeg puts out a committee release rye matured whiskey, I mean, come on, right? We have to try this. The prices on this bottle, as far as I've been able to see, are quite prohibitive. I mean, I've seen it going for over $300. It is non-age statement. What can you say? I don't know. My experience with Ardbeg's NAS whiskeys is that they're kind of hit and miss. So here's what we got: a Ardbeg in rye. This is what the color looks like. I don't know if that's natural, but I bet it is. So you're talking about a heavily peated Islay with a rye cask. I don't think I've ever had a heavily peated whiskey with rye. So let's check it out. Okay. Immediately on the nose, sweet. It is vanilla and it is butterscotch. Bit of savory too, which is kind of herbal, and that's where I think the rye spice is coming in. It is a muted rye spice. It's not that kind of fresh, aggressive rye you may be used to in a rye whiskey or a high rye bourbon. It's kind of masked over with the vanilla sweetness. There are some light fruit notes, yellow apple, smoke, and peat, of course, but it's not that deep road tar peat that you expect out of Ardbeg. It's much sweeter. It's more like a Kalila almost. So the nose is, yeah, it's all right. Nothing really shocking or amazing. But here we go. Let's give it a taste. The much sought after Ardbeg. Cheers, Tony and King of Prussia. Appreciate this sample. Arrives like the Ardbeg 10, where you get the kind of vanilla, citrus. Ooh, that's a hell of a spice kick on the end. Yeah, anyways, as I was saying, it arrives with the like citrus, vanilla, toffee, milk chocolatey, slightly milk chocolate. But then on the back end of the palate, you get this huge spice hit, and it is different. It is not just like the peaty, drying earthiness that you would expect out of Ardbeg. It does have a more herbal vibrancy, which I guess, of course, is going to be due to the rye. It's more mouthwatering and juicy than I would expect. Oranges, caramel. The rye spice, it's not dill. You don't get the dill, so there's that. It's more like a parsley. Mint. Long finish, too. Cafe mocha, a bit of like cayenne pepper, like right on the edge. Yeah. All right. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not a world beater, I'll tell you that. But interesting. If I was going to compare it to an Ardbeg that I think most folks have had, I would compare it to the Corey Vrecken. But it is not as intense as the Corey Vrecken. It's not like a swarm of hornets attacking your tongue. Like it's spicy, but it's not that intense. More like I don't know, like a bumblebees or some shit. To complete the analogy. Yeah. It's nice and rich. A lot of chocolate and vanilla on that initial arrival, and then the spice kicks in. It's well made. It's better than the drum. It quality wise, it reminds me a bit of the. Do I have it still? I don't. The black, right? Where you had a finish or you had a maturation with the black. And like the way it shows up, the way it develops is very similar. Classic Ardbeg notes followed by the cask maturation. In this case, it's rye, where you're getting a lot more like bourbon rye notes. Whereas with the black, you got the like dark, kind of sharp red fruit tannicness of the Pinot Noir. It's very similar in its progression of the experiences that. It's better than I thought it would be, because I've honestly I have hit lower expectations on these rushed releases from Ardbeg. Well, rushed is maybe a personal descriptor. That said, I mean, this isn't a $200 whiskey. I'll tell you that much. If you're a collector and you want to go spend like $150 on it, $170, sure, but I mean, this isn't something you have to open because it's so unique. I mean, it's not better than an Ukadal or a Corey Vrecken, but I am enjoying it. It's better than the Ardbeg Drum Committee release for sure. It rivals maybe the Grooves. It rivals the Kelpie. If that gives you a sense of the quality. I think the black is a little bit better, but totally different style. A little water. It is rich. It is one of the richest Ardbegs I've had. And when I say that, I'm saying it in a sense of like a rich bourbon. Those heavy bourbon notes are they're very strong on this. Stronger than the Pinot notes were on the black committee release. I'm not talking about the regular release, which was, I think, really bad, unfortunately. All right. With water, we'll see if this falls apart at all. Interestingly, more herbaceous, fresh cut grass. The rye notes are stronger now. Still not dominating. If you took the peat out of this would remind me of a rye that I've been recently sipping on. And Daniel from East Texas, if you're in the house, you'll know what I'm talking about. When I say this, it is the Wilderness Trail Castor Rye, where it's like a very bourbony rye. God, I'm even getting like this is going to sound crazy, like a fried egg note. I've never had this in a bourbon before, or a whiskey before. There's literally a fried egg note going out of this. Okay. Holds its own with water. Doesn't fall apart. That's good. Spicier. Nice long finish. That's good. It's sad that the price is so high because I couldn't say you should. I mean, if I was going to preliminary score this is like a 3.25, 3.5. It's interesting. It does not ascend over Corey Vrecken or Ukadal. Definitely not Ukadal. But it's competent and it's good. It's better than most of the rye. I don't know if it's as good as the Glenmorangie, but as far as the rye goes, I think I would rather drink this than the Glenmorangie, but I don't think it's as good in terms of the rye, if that makes sense. Very chocolatey, fudgy almost. This is one of the richest Ardbegs I've had. Huge. Like every sip I have, it's more and more assertive on these chocolate, vanilla, caramel notes. The butterscotch I got on the nose, long gone. I mean, this is like eating a piece of like dark toffee, chocolate toffee, the mix. They did a good job with this. I mean, obviously, I still wouldn't argue that you should go and spend over $200 on this. And if you do, just be an Ardbeg collector and leave it at that. It's not worth opening necessarily, maybe, unless you really, really want to. But it's unique enough. I respect it. They did a decent job with this for sure. I'm all over the place, but hey, what can you say? I do want to thank Tony again for sharing a sample of this. I totally appreciate it. I like it. I like it. I mean, it's not, I mean, boy, if you would have had this over the drum, Jesus, back in 2019, God, this is such a better whiskey than the drum. Let me catch up here on the chat. Mike Myers in the house. What's up? Rocking his GNR avatar as always, which I love. How many drive? How long hour drive? 12. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drive. I've done it before. I've done it from Milwaukee, which is even a little bit further. Kapil, our other friend over in Delhi, India. What's up, man? Thanks for swinging in. I hope you aren't going to start selling branded Glencairns at $25 like so many bourbon bogan weasels. I mean, does anybody want a Malmuser Glencairn? I don't know. Nah, man. You know, I'm not. Look, I'll give you this. If I get 5,000 subs in the next year, then maybe I'll do it. But I promise you this: I'll do an inner circle. I'll create an inner circle for the old school folks. I'll take the people's money who just want to jump on the bandwagon, but not the people I respect, which includes you and the folks in the chat now. So how about that? Unless you really, really want one. But I have no business plan. I do this mostly for fun. And as I always say, I learn more about whiskey from y'all than I would otherwise, which is why I do this in the first place. And so that's why I appreciate hanging out with you guys so much on this. Yeah, the Chivas was whatever. I totally agree. Spios is great. Yeah, don't buy it online. 189. I mean, this is the dilemma, right? So after the drum, I said to myself, I am never buying another of these Ardbeg committee releases. Like, it was shit. It's not worth the 100. It was at the drum was 130. And then, of course, I walk into a shop and they had 2 bottles left of the Ardbeg Black Committee and it was 150. And I'm like, I got to do it. I don't know, man. We got to draw the line somewhere. If you're going to open it, look, and I'm not one of these people that advocates the whole like collecting thing. But in this case, if you're going to buy it to either, you know, sit on it for a couple of years or, you know, throw it on secondary market. I hate to advocate for that, but that's what this is good for. It's a good whiskey. I don't think you need it, though. I don't think you need to experience this at that price point. If this was $120, I'd say open it, not $190. It's just not it's not a $190 whiskey. And I love Ardbeg. I'm just saying it. Probably some folks disagree, but I haven't. But I should. Oh, you get the space. Yeah. Totally, Tony. And thanks again for this sample, man. I'm going to actually pour a little bit more of it. Oh, nice. The Larceny. Yeah, I have not opened that one yet. I got lucky and I got one at the release at the Fine Wine Good Spirits stores here in PA. I got to open that. I'm going to do it. I like this Ardbeg, man. I don't know, man. It would be hard for me to like want to crack this open if I paid over $200 for it. Dude, it was. I love the Glenmorangie Spios. I think that's a great one. Aaron Hardiman's in the house. What's up? Yeah, Chivas, right. Are you talking about the 13-year-old? Yeah. I totally know what you mean. Jay Case is really interested in your opinion on Ardbeg. I bought one and I could still find more at MSRP, but well, yeah. I mean, I hope I've been helpful. I know I'm like, it's a good whiskey, but I don't know. Is it a $200 whiskey? Look, if you got the disposable income to spend $200 on an Ardbeg and knock air, then do it. If you're going to buy it to try and sell it later, you know, I know people do that. You know, there you go. You can do that. It's good. It's just not a mind blower. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, I agree. Didn't blow me. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it is. It is a good pour. It is a good pour. It's just not like, I don't know what the rye, like the rye is there and it's bringing some of it, but I really do get a lot. Give me a second. This is what I want to say about it. It's almost as if they were selling a Ardbeg that was in all first fill bourbon. Like that's how strong I feel like the bourbon notes are on this. The vanilla, the chocolate, the oak spice, caramel, a little bit of the apple note. The rye spice does kick it up a little bit on the back, as you were saying, Tony. But all in all, like it's like if you got you know how Glenlivet has that, like, you know, they're all ex-bourbon, but then they have like a first fill ex-bourbon release or first fill bourbon release. It's like they could have done that, or it's similar to that. It's a very competent whiskey. It's just so much in demand because of, you know, Ardbeg is like the Weller of Scotch.
Well, okay. Bring it back.
Ardbeg is the Macallan. Ardbeg is the Weller of Scotch. No, Ardbeg is the Macallan of Scotch. The Weller of Scotch is, and we all know the answer to this. What is it? Macallan. Yep. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. It's a fun drink. I mean, I'm enjoying it. And again, Tony, thank you so much for like even throwing this in a bottle for me. It's great. I really enjoyed it. This is a fun Ardbeg. And I love Ardbeg. So hats off to Tony and King of Prussia. Yeah. Oh yeah. My review is going to come out of that in like a month or so. I'm about to record it, and believe me, I got good things to say. Sherry, not even a question. Sherry for sure. Hey, James Morgan. Good to see you. Yeah, get the Sherry for sure. What's up, Indy? It has been a while. Good to see you. We got 27 folks in, and by the way, we are in Telex Watch territory. We're about to get real close to Telex and Malt Show, which I'm going to make sure I just got the link set up here. Tonight, Telex and he's got the link ready already, which is awesome. Let me drop this in the chat. So we are going to be talking some rye whiskey tonight. Dad's Hat, barrel proof, Pennsylvania rye. We are also doing the E.H. Taylor rye. Link is in the chat. Hope you all can join us. We got 2 more hours of Whiskey Chat going, as we do every Tuesday here. And if you haven't yet, I do, ask for a subscription. I'm starting to get close to that 1,000, so I'd love to have folks sub if they haven't yet. And if you're already subbed, hit the thumbs up. It does a lot for the channel. I appreciate it. And to Cohen, I promise you, I will not be selling you, trying to upsell you a Glencairn glass with my stupid ass like face or logo on it. Peter White's in the house. What's up? Did someone say rye? Yes, we're drinking the Ardbeg Arrrrrrdbeg as we speak, and we got 2 ryes coming up, and I will show you guys the bottles of these. So the first one we're doing, Dad's Hat Pennsylvania rye whiskey. This is the barrel proof, single barrel. It's about 4 years old. It is 61.6% ABV. As you can tell, I've mightily enjoyed this. Telex will be tasting that tonight. And then we are also doing the overly priced on secondary market, but if you can find it at the store, I recommend you buy it. E.H. Taylor, which comes out of Buffalo Trace. This is the straight rye whiskey. It's 100% rye. It is bottled in bond. So we got 2 killer ryes coming up to chat about tonight. And it looks like our friend Telex is just about ready to get going. I'll drop this link one more time down here. Peter White, I would not be surprised if Peter White has over 100 or 700. 700, yeah. I was going to say over 100, but I don't know. Peter White hasn't invited me over yet, so once he does that and tells me to come to Canada, I'll learn all about his rye collection. I know he has an Annock 1975, which I want to taste. $75. I walked in at the right time, the right place at the right time. Yeah, I know. You see them on secondary market; they're like 200. We'll talk a bit more about that on the Telex and Malt show too. But yeah, E.H. Taylor is like one. E.H. Taylor is another one of these ridiculous ones. Hey, cheers, man. Maher, it is early morning in India. Get yourself some rest. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much for swinging in. Yeah, I mean, Christ. I agree with you on that. All right. Telex is live, which means I'm going to sign off. One more time for the folks in the back. I will drop this link in the chat. Again, thank you guys so much. It's been another fun happy hour. And if you're not joining, be sure to sub because I'm dropping another review on Friday. You won't want to miss that. And I'll see you over on the Telex and Malt show. Cheers.